Take one.
All right, you guys, welcome back to the Level Up in Life and Business podcast. It is a solo episode with me today. I know you guys like those. But today I want to talk about something that I have been experiencing myself. As you all know, recently pivoting to coaching and online products and digital products and just really trying to educate as many as I can through my platform. When the support is not showing up and, the support we don't see and navigating your business without validation, right? That can be tricky. That can be hard. I mean, I've dealt with it. I mean, we always want someone in our corner. We always want to see the likes and the comments and all the things coming through. But what do we do when they don't? When they don't, and you still got to keep pushing, you still have to, motivate yourself. And what do you do in those times? And what is your thought process like? Because that can literally break you down mentally if you're not in the right headspace, if you're not focused. It could break you down. So let's get into it right now. Okay, so you guys, I have some cards here because this is pretty lengthy and I'm gonna try to get through it because I wrote down some points because I really wrote down how I was feeling during these times when I was feeling like, I didn't have the support or when I did have overwhelming amount of support, and I just kind of had to journal those down. So that's why you'll see note cards with me today. So I just really want to share my personal journey of just pushing through with no support and all the emotions that came with it, and how I learned to show up regardless. And then I want to talk about the flip side of that when people over support me. And, I'm kind of just like, oh my God, okay, thank you. And the guilt I feel when I can't do the same in return, right? Like when I can't always return the favor. And just how I learned the balance of that. And hopefully this is an episode that you can take away some of these tips or just kind of resonate with you, because I'm sure we've all had these ups and downs emotions during entrepreneurship and how we navigate through our feelings and especially the support, because that is a huge part of our job, right? A huge part of selling products, a huge part of nourishing our clients. So I kind of just wanted to take this kind of beat for this episode. So the loneliness of the grind. Yeah. How many of you guys have felt that? I mean, just feeling alone, as you're building, as you're climbing, as you are, putting your plan together and not having someone to, support that or bounce ideas off of, or you can't afford, the big team that would really help you fuel your ideas, right? So, it gets kind of lonely during this phase. And I can recall pivotal points in my life when I had absolutely zero support. Yeah, zero support. When, I first started this pivot into coaching, I mean, people thought I was crazy. I mean, really taking a step back from my 7-figure agency and doing something a little bit different when my agency was going pretty well. People thought I was crazy, right? Are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure that, that's something that you want to do? And that kind of made me doubt. But I was so you know what I'm saying? This is what I'm going to do. I'm here to educate. I want to reach more people. I feel like with my agency, it's boutique, and it was allowing me to just service those in my city, right? Because everyone wanted me to be physically there. And it was hard for me to work with clients outside of my state. So, and, I have a family now. I want to travel. I want to be able to work with people when I'm overseas, when I'm doing things, and still be able to show up and support them in ways. So I felt like this was a good transition for me, right? Now I still have my company. However, I'm not as hands-on and as involved that I used to be, because we have, our clients and they're happy. And once I do their strategy, the team pretty much just implements it. However, this new journey of coaching, of mentorship, of, educating, has had its ups and downs, and it's new for me. Okay. And that can feel heavy, and it could just make you second guess. And you can start wondering, like, is this idea worth it? Like, are they right? You know, when people are starting to put that doubt into you. But the lesson learned there is that, you know, I had to really become my own biggest cheerleader. I mean, obviously my immediate family, my husband, my mother, my Nana, everybody was like, oh my God, do it, because they know me and they know once I put my mind to something, it's gonna get done. But, you know, I stopped waiting for others to hype me up, and I stopped sharing my ideas, and I just started executing. I just started producing. You know how they say, build the house in silence and have the housewarming in public. It was kind of one of those things. I just kept building. And I think that's one of the lessons I learned, is even in times when I have doubt, to just push through, because it's just a feeling. It's just temporary, you know, it's just temporary. And the vision is long term. But then the unexpected support that came later, right? Like, how do you deal with that? And how did I deal with that? So fast forward another season in my journey, and suddenly I had more support than I knew what to do with. Okay. I mean, like, when I launched my brand new U-course, and my strategy and all the things that I was manifesting in my head, when I actually launched it, you know, my DMs were getting flooded, and people were reposting my work, and they just really poured into me, you know, and it felt so good, but it was so overwhelming, because then a new struggle came with that. And the new struggle was guilt. I felt guilty because as much as I wanted to pour back into everyone that was giving me that support and pouring into me, I just simply couldn't. I just couldn't. Between running businesses, managing, you know, my personal life, and just simply like keeping my head afloat just mentally, I mean, I didn't always have the capacity to show up for others in the way that they showed up for me. And that guilt is real. You know, you start to really second guess yourself. I mean, I had friends doing things that I couldn't show up to. You know, I had events that I couldn't show up to because I was really knee deep in my grind. And then after that, you know, I have to deal with my family, and, you know, I'm a mother of 4, and, you know, all that is really my priority. So not being able to pour back into my tribe or my friends or people that poured into me during the times when they needed, I mean, you know, it kind of, you know, it takes a toll, but I always tried to make up for it by sending flowers or something. But me physically being present, I know is the key. But I mean, that guilt is real. That guilt is real. So the lesson I learned there is that, you know, support comes in waves, and it's okay to receive it without immediately giving it back. And you really can't pour from an empty cup. Like, I mean, your real supporters will understand that, point blank, period. Like, they're just going to understand, and that's just what it's going to be. And you just got to move on, and you got to keep pushing, and you show up when you can, and you do the best that you can, and you try to communicate when you can, and or over communicate sometimes is what I typically do. But just really, you know, letting others know that you support them, you see them, thank them for seeing you. And, you know, that's the best that you can do. Just, you know, you just got to keep it moving. You got to keep it moving. So how I keep showing up for myself in those times when no one is supporting me. If you're in a season where it feels like no one is supporting you, I have 4 things for you to do. And these are 4 things that I did that really helped me. Detach from validation. That's just, you cannot have, I mean, like, your success does not depend on whether someone supports you or not. It just does not. You have to keep showing up. You simply have to keep showing up. The right people will find you. Your tribe will find you. And that's just what it is. When you give up, they won. They won. So you do not need validation from anyone, period. You just got to show up for yourself day in and day out. Even when you don't have the energy, even when you don't feel like it, you just got to show up, honey. Create your own community. If the community that you have, that your surroundings are just not supporting you, hello, your vibe attracts your tribe. Like, you can find your tribe elsewhere, point blank, period. Like, online and networking opportunities, other events, by collaborating with like-minded influencers or just partners. Like, your tribe will grow, and then that little piece of people that you were depending on in the initial process won't even matter anymore. Literally, that's what happened to me. Like, I've been building an amazing community of women or of solopreneurs that are ready to level up their brand. And I'm talking to them, and they're understanding, and they are showing up for me. I'm showing up for them. And I'm meeting a bunch of new women that are amazing, that are talented, and that pour into me in ways I never thought that I needed. So I like it here. I like it here. I do. My other supporters will come around whenever they feel like it, but I don't need them. I don't need that validation. Make your work impossible to ignore. I know you heard that before. Make it so good they can't ignore you. Yes, that is a thing. That is the thing. Like, sometimes people don't support you because they don't understand what you do. And you just have to be consistent, be visible, and show up so boldly that they have no choice but to pay attention. Okay? And lastly, I always say this, you guys, move in silence. If you read a lot of entrepreneurial books, they will tell you the same thing, because you start to self-doubt yourself when you put your information out there and people don't receive it how you want to. So you need to really move in silence. Not everyone needs to know your every move. Sometimes the best work happens when no one is watching, and that, I'm a testament to that. I didn't tell anyone I was starting a podcast. I didn't tell anyone I was starting a coaching business. I kind of just did it, and there was no stopping me after that. There was really no stopping me after that. So I want to close this episode by saying that support is not always visible. It's not always immediate, okay? But that doesn't mean you stop moving. That doesn't mean that you give up. You may be in a season, and you'll come out of that season, right? And your business is a journey, and it's your journey. So you're going to have, lots of hills, lots of slopes. You're going to, have lots of easy trails sometimes, but it is a journey. It's for you, and it's your story. It's for you to own, and just keep at it. Even if it feels impossible, even if you don't have the support of your loved ones, or if you don't have the support of your husband, or if you don't have the support of your best friend, of your mother, whatever, it's not their vision, it's your vision. So if you like this, click that like button, leave me a comment, follow me on Instagram at Anthony Allen, at Level Up in Life Pod. You guys, I appreciate you all so much. And thank you for just allowing me to just kind of get this off my chest, because, it's been up and down for me too with this new pivot in my career. And, I wouldn't change it for the world, but I know that if I were to hear an episode like this during one of my down times, it would really help me. So stay tuned for the next episode. And thank you so much for listening and watching.